Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So, I know it's been a while. It's even been a while since the PLO finale happened now. But the thing is, my phone just did not want me to be able to record this video. 3 times I recorded the video, 3 times it failed. The second and third time I actually did get to see the footage, but when I compiled it, it was about 40 minutes, and 40 minutes of like me kind of going over what I just said. So it didn't seem right to put up for me, and then to edit that down would also look pretty weird, and I look completely different on 2 separate days. So whatever, I decided to film this again. So yes, I have some new hair. I'll do a separate video about this hair, but I want to talk about PLO season 6 episode 10, Game Over Charles, the summer finale, the FAcetoFAce finale, and just my thoughts about it, because I feel like you've probably seen recaps by now. So yeah, this is a new camera. It's super HD, so if I look a little funky, that's probably why. You're seeing me probably as new as you could ever see, besides in person. So yeah. So CC is Charles, is A. I was like, okay. When I saw her face, I was like, oh boy, I don't want to know what's coming next. Like, I didn't want CC to be A. I really wasn't checking for CC. I really didn't care about her. So for her to be A was kind of like, what the hell could her leave me? Oh boy, here we go. And to find out she is actually Charles. So that whole thing was interesting. But at the same time, going back on it, so you didn't mean to actually hurt your sister. Yes, I get it. You were a child, and Mr. D was pretty cold. You know, a kid is a kid. Kids make mistakes. Clearly, Charles wasn't too bright because he was knocking on the window trying to call his mom. The window's closed. She's not going to hear you. If Cece's telling the truth, you know, she's not going to hear you. So, yeah, you try to calm your sister down. That whole thing explodes. I mean, Mr. D gave up on his son pretty quickly. And I don't care even if you are mad at some of the things that your son does. That's a little extreme. So it makes me feel like there's definitely more to the story. But who knows, because Cece's the one who was telling us the story, and Cece, I can assure you, is probably an unreliable narrator. Also, I'm a little hoarse, so if I sound weird, I sound like a man to you right now, that's why. Yeah, so yeah, Cece gets put in Radley as a kid, pretty much grows up in Radley, because Jason doesn't even remember him, whatever. And you know, it was from so young that, you know, he became friends with Bethany. Found out Bethany young. We found out something about Bethany, is that she was actually in Radley too. We knew that, but we find out that she was actually pretty crazy herself. Was good friends with Charles until she blamed Marion's death on him. So that was interesting to find out. My only thing is the whole so then it kind of explains why Bethany saw Mrs. D as this evil person, because Mrs. D probably made Bethany's life a living hell. My only thing is, how is it that you allow people to think that Charles did it, and why cover up Marion's death and say it was a suicide, then just blame it on Bethany, who was the person who did it? You know what I'm saying? Why not get the cop to say it was Bethany? Get willing to say that. No, instead she covers that up, makes it seem like it was a suicide. So now Toby thinks his mom killed herself when that wasn't what happened. Another thing about that whole situation is, so then later on you begin to have an affair with Bethany's dad. Makes me feel like Cece wasn't telling the whole truth about Cece and her mom's relationship, Mrs. D's relationship. I feel like she wasn't telling the whole truth there either, because just something just didn't add up. Like how Mrs. D died, and you say you just found her and they're dead. So who killed her? If you knew so much about the girls and stuff, how come you don't know who killed your own mother? How come you didn't look into that if you cared so much? You know what I mean? I don't fully believe Cece and everything she says. So what else happened? So yeah, when the girls found out that Cece was Cece, they're like, what? Cece is Charles? Isn't Charles a guy? Isn't she a girl? Blah, blah, blah. And there is a great Cece is A theory video. There's actually 2 parts to it that will make you realize how Cece is A. Like, the person caught onto things that I didn't even pick up at any time. So back when Cece was being redcoat for Allie, and Arya and Cece got into that fight, and then Cece drops, like, she's hanging, and then her coat rips, which is weird because that must have been a really cheap coat for it to rip. But her coat rips, and she drops. She has on a black hoodie underneath that red coat. Also, we saw Cece in the black hoodie listening in at Ezra's door. Why else would she be there? Like, what did she have to listen in on between Ezra and Arya? Remember, Ezra was actually paying Cece for some reason. Why was that? You know, there's just a bunch of things that I just never caught on to, but now it makes so much sense. But at the same time, the person who did that video had a better motive for Cece than they gave her in this finale. The person said, you know, Cece, because remember, Cece always used to blame her getting kicked out of UPenn on Allie and the girls. And if that was your motive, you know, that's a big deal. If you were really just a student trying to, you know, get your college education and you actually cared about UPenn. Here's the thing. In the finale now, they're saying that Cece wasn't really a part of UPenn when she got to take classes there or something like that. Like, this explanation is a little weird. But long story short, Cece spent most of her life in Radley. So UPenn didn't really matter to her that much because she knew everything already. Another thing, wasn't it a thing that, like, Sam mentioned this, I'm going to leave his video down below too, wasn't it a thing that Cece, Melissa, the NAT club, they all knew each other in high school? But if that's the case, how come Cece explains it that she met Jason when he in college? I believe that's what it was. And she, like, takes her picture. No, he was in high school. She's a year older. So he was in high school. She takes a picture and becomes prom queen. Doesn't make sense if no one knows who you are. You know what I mean? How did you become prom queen? You date your brother. Let's not even go there. Oh, that's why he was frustrated. There were so many ways you could have gotten close to that family. Dating your brother? Really? This is what we've come up with? Okay. And it's like, if Cece is so smart like she claims, why? And then, when you look at the flashbacks, or when you look at, the flashbacks of Cece and Allie together, if you cared so much about your sister and stuff, why were you such a bad influence on her? Like, encouraging her to make fun of Paige and all of that. But then you want to get mad at the girls for being happy that she was gone? Are you kidding me? Like, Allie was super evil. So if they were a little relieved, like, they had that right. And you knew how Allie was because you spent time with her. You can't act like you thought she was an angel. You knew how she was. And you were just like her. Maybe that's what it was. So what I feel is that Cece's actually just crazy and evil, and that's her just real justification for everything that she's done. I don't think it was so much about being A because you were mad that the girls were happy that your sister was gone. I think it was being A because you were bored and you felt like torturing people, which I'm very unsatisfied with as a motive. I just feel like I wanted A to really be scorned by this girls whether they knew it or not, and like for A to have a real reason. And to me, Cece's reason is not a real reason. It was just kind of fluffy and like, oh, this is what we're just going to say because she could say that, and you know, we're just going to have to accept that. But I don't know, I don't accept that as a motive. I think it's pretty whack, for lack of a better word, you know what I mean? Pretty lackluster and pretty just, okay, so this is the whole reason why all this continued after Mona stopped being A. And I also don't believe Mona fully. First of all, we find out Mona had a tracker on Allie and all this crap. She didn't tell the girls anything until that night. I feel like Mona did know that Cece was A. And I think she's wanting to see Cece actually blow up Allie. We found out Mona killed Becky. So, because she was so mad at Allie, and all she could hear was all the mean things that Allie said to her. And it was like, wow, you are super twisted, Mona. Super twisted. And then Cece makes the comment like, oh, I could never really trust Mona. She ran over her own friend with a car. But was Hannah ever really your friend if you chose to actually torture her? Like, all the things that the mom went through with Wilden and stealing the money and all that, like, you would put her mom at risk like that and be cool with it if you were her friend? No, I don't think so. And then why would you mess with your friend's friends if that's your friend? And why were you messing with the girls at all if you thought Allie was dead because you thought you killed her? Then you realized that you didn't kill her because you saw her and you told her to go away. Why were you messing with the girls at all. They had no idea that Allie was alive. They only found out that Allie was alive because Allie had to come back to help them. So it all just seems really weirdly stupid and really inconsistent. If you think about it too hard, you're just gonna be like, what? Like, I promise you guys, after I saw this finale, I was just thinking about everything in the show, and I'm just like, really, this is what it all boiled down to? Like, this was it? Yeah, no, not satisfied. There are a lot of other things. So that night, right? So we found out Bethany is the one who killed. Mona's the one who killed Bethany. So then that makes me wonder, when Melissa thought she was protecting Spencer, Melissa buried Bethany thinking she was protecting Spencer. And the thing about all this was Mona knew. Since Mona knew that Allie was alive, Mona knew that she killed Bethany for so long and just didn't tell anybody. And it's like, we thought, oh, maybe Allie killed Bethany because she wanted revenge on her and all this stuff. And I don't know who planted that. It was either Mona or Cece who planted that information, like, oh, Allie lured Bethany to Rosewood. Come to find out, Allie probably didn't even know about Bethany. It was Cece who knew about her. So Cece lured her to Rosewood? What really happened there, guys? Like, there's so many like loose ends, and if you think about every episode and the things that were revealed to us and stuff, it's like, what was real and what was not? Because there's just a lot. There's just a lot, and I can't even like think about it too hard, or someone's gonna, you know, just be confused. Yeah, so that night Cece thought she killed Allie. Here's my thing about Cece and Mrs. D. You both care about Allison, right? So Cece hits Allie over the head. Okay, this is crazy. Oh my gosh, I didn't know it was her. I didn't know it was her. Do we not check pulses? Do we not try to get you back to life? Do we not call an ambulance at least to say somebody else hit her over the head? They wouldn't know if someone else did it and you just found your daughter there. No, you just decide to bury her. Does that make any sense? Did you not check a pulse? Did you not? Why didn't you just call an ambulance and say, oh my gosh, I found my daughter in the whatchamacallit, on the floor, on the front lawn, you know what I mean? And call the ambulance. They would help her. They would try to get her back to life, at least something. No, you just think, okay, no, Cece hit her, let me bury her. You could have gotten Cece out of town still, but instead called an ambulance. No, you instead buried your daughter. And the other part about it is, when did Cece find out that Allie wasn't dead? Because she thought she was dead. There was a funeral, but it wasn't even Allie's body. Did Mona do all of that? Did Mona put Bethany's body in Allie's grave, or what? Like, what exactly happened there, guys? Oh wait, at first what it was that Allie was missing. So she was buried but missing because they couldn't let anyone know that she actually died. I don't know. It's exhausting actually thinking about it all. So yeah, that's why Mrs. D and Cece sound super fishy about that whole night, because it doesn't make sense. If your daughter was hit over the head by another daughter, won't you try to get her back to life or something? Glenwell had to pull her out the ground. Glenwell knew that she was alive, because why would you pull her out the ground when she was alive? Oh no, Allie put one hand out. That's what happened. just super creepy. And then another thing, didn't Allie's body get out of the ground? So wouldn't they have seen that? Wouldn't they like, no, we buried her right here. Where's her body now? Type thing. I don't know. Exhausting. Just super duper exhausting. Yeah. So then the other thing was, Jason remembered seeing Cece that night that Allie went missing, right? But Cece claims, oh no, he didn't see me, nobody saw me, I was just there to kill Bethany because Bethany was going to come after Mrs. D for having an affair with her father. What is wrong with Mrs. D? Because she keeps having affairs. Why were you still with Kenneth then? Like, what the heck? Anyway, but Jason saw Cece talking to Melissa. That's why I'm like, okay, clearly Cece is lying about something, because even though Jason was drugged up and stuff, he thought it was Allie and it was actually Cece. He didn't think it was, he didn't say, oh, it was this girl that I never met. That would have been nothing. No, he knew it was Cece. And Cece's all like, no, I wasn't there. So Cece's just a liar, because he claims she claims that Allie called her to help with something, I forget, because she needed help with the whole Ian thing, I think, because everybody wanted that tape and all this crap. And come to find out, Cece was actually there to kill Bethany. And see, I'm going to ask a really good question. Cece had a cell phone? Weren't you in Radley? How did you have a cell phone? How did you get out of Radley before you even knew Allie? I mean, before you even knew Mona, when you couldn't even need Mona's help to get out of Radley. There's just so many things. So many things, guys. And, I don't know if I should just go through it all, because it's just a lot. But my point is, this show has so many inconsistencies, especially in this finale. PLL Freaks 13 brought up the whole thing about Toby, Toby's mom, and how did she die when Charles was a child, when Toby interacted with his mom when he was a teenager. And then somebody in the PLL staff was all, oh, it was dream logic. And Marlene says, oh, it's because the actor was there at their present age doesn't mean that Toby wasn't younger. Now here's my thing. He wasn't a kid. You can't tell me Toby was talking to his mom when he was 6 years old or something like that. Just stop lying, because he was, well, yeah, Keegan Allen was a grown man, but he was playing a teenager. Toby was talking to her as a teenager. Also, when Allie and Toby were speaking in the beginning, when he was like, oh, when she was like, oh, your mom, like, what? Something about being only waking up right now or something like that. Allie was like 14 then. So, what are you saying? And why is it then that when Allie now is, Allie's flashbacks when she was a little girl, it was actually a little girl playing her, not Sasha the actress, but another little girl. When Charles was a little boy, it was another little boy. It wasn't, what was her name? Vanessa or something like that? The actress that plays Cece playing Charles as a boy. You know what I mean? Like, so just stop the BS. Like, just stop it. Like, no. You messed up there. There's an inconsistency. There's a plot hole there. So just stop. And there are tons of plot holes. There are tons of mystery. There are tons of things that just don't add up. Like, what's the whole mystery behind Arya and Spencer? What was Ren's deal then? Why was Ren so fishy? Ren was at Radley when Mona was still, when Mona was a patient and he was trying to fend her Mona to get released. Why was that? When Mona was actually crazy and actually responsible for being A, and he was there when Cece was a patient, and Cece had a pass to get into Radley when she was actually a patient there. How does that even work? I don't know. And yeah, Melissa being super fishy and all the things she was doing with like Jenna and the Halloween train, and what was Melissa's role in all this, and why were they trying to hurt the girls if only Wilden really had a motive to do any of that, you know what I mean? And also, why was Wilden the one investigating this so hard if he's the one who knew that Allie died? You know what I mean? When the show started and he was like, oh, I think Allie was killed. Why would you then even bother the girls if you already know the whole story? You know, this didn't make sense. And he wasn't dealing with Mona. He was dealing with Cece, if anybody. And he knew everything that Cece was up to. So, again, it all just doesn't make sense. There's so much more to say. But I think I'm just going to end the video here. Long story short, I wasn't very happy with the finale. And mostly because of all the inconsistencies. And I kind of did want Ren to be A. It's not the fact that Cece is A. It's the fact that, one, her motive really was lackluster for me. Like, I wanted some really crazy stuff to come out about what Spencer or Hannah or somebody did. Somebody. But no. Oh, you just were happy that she was gone. You guys are all my dolls. I would never really hurt my dolls. But you hurt them in so many ways. You scarred them for life. But, oh, I would never really hurt them. So, long story short, Cece's crazy, and that's why the world is the way it is in Rosewood. But I will say, watch those Cece is A theory videos. They're super good. Definitely. I'll also leave Sam Sam's video below and the book pause video below, because they have really good recaps and thoughts, and they brought some really good things to light about the finale and the inconsistencies of it. And it's like, oh yeah, Sarah is red coat and black veil, which makes no sense. I know I'm satisfied with her being red coat just because I knew she was fishy, but for her to be black veil too, and Cece's reasoning behind that, Santa mentioned this, I had to make sure that Wilden was dead, so she had to go to the funeral. So you shoot somebody and you're not sure if they're dead. You think it's because Allie came back from dead just because you didn't check her pulse. You thought that Wilden would too come back from the dead. How about you check somebody's pulse when you think you killed them and move forward? That was the whole story behind Black Widow. It wasn't that somebody was actually mourning his death. It was, oh, she came in there to make sure that he was dead. And the whole thing about Sarah is like, when did Sarah really come into the picture? There's so much explaining that has to be done. Like, when did Sarah come into the picture? Because she went missing the day after Allie went missing. Yet Cece didn't steal the game from Mona until season 3. So what was Sarah doing that whole time? Was she just locked up in Cece's dollhouse? When did Cece get this dollhouse? And Cece was supposedly in Radley when Mona came to Radley. So when did you get the dollhouse? When did all of this happen? There's just so many loopholes and so many things happening that I am just like, okay, I'm just gonna watch to see what they do with it. I don't know if they're gonna redeem themselves in my book or not. And by them I mean the PLL writers, and all the people, all the powers that be in PLL. But I'm just gonna watch to see what happens next. I'm not gonna put as much energy into it though. Like, it was just like, okay, so this is what you guys are doing with this. Okay, all right. You know, so I'm just like, okay, whatever. And then Cece is just a liar too, because she claims she cares about Allie and Jason still. Like, she did the whole thing like, oh, I thought I could have trusted you. One, why didn't you tell Jason you were his sister, former brother, a long time ago, if you cared so much? Why would you make him like you that way? You know, why didn't you friend zone him? 2, you were gonna blow everybody up. Like, you had your bomb set, like, there was like C4 or something there. You were gonna blow everybody up, but you claim you cared. Stop the lies. Anyway, I'm gonna end the video here. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Like the video if you liked the video. Comment down below your thoughts, anything that I missed. I'm pretty sure I missed a lot. A lot happened, but then a lot didn't happen, but whatever. And subscribe for future videos. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye!